The laughter hit me first. Loud, careless, and far too familiar. I froze mid-sip, the rim of my glass still grazing my lips as Sarah's laughter, my wife's laughter, rang across the room. It wasn't the kind she gave me anymore. This was brighter, looser. The kind that made her eyes light up and her guard fall. And the man standing beside her, Tom, her friend from work, was the reason for it. "Come on, Mark," he called out when he noticed me standing at the bar. "You've got to tell me. How does it feel being married to the most charming woman in the room?" Few people chuckled. The kind of polite laughter people use when they're unsure if something's appropriate. I forced a smile. "Feels fine," I said, voice even. "Though I suppose you'd know more about her charm than I do these days." His grin faltered for half a second. Just half. Then it was back, wider this time, forced. Sarah's smile didn't return quite so easily. The party was for one of her co-workers, a housewarming in a glass-walled apartment that overlooked the city skyline. It was warm inside, smells of wine, perfume, and something burning faintly in the kitchen. I hated these gatherings. Too many polished smiles. Too much pretending. But Sarah had insisted. "It's important, Mark. Please, just this once, come with me." So I did. Like a fool I did. Tom approached again later, holding 2 glasses of wine. He offered one to Sarah, his fingers brushing hers just a moment too long. My stomach twisted. I noticed small things. The way she leaned slightly toward him when he spoke, the private jokes they shared, the way she never looked at me when I was near. And then came the moment. "So, Mark," Tom said loudly enough for the nearby group to hear. "Sarah tells me you're the quiet type. She says you're not exactly fun at parties." Few chuckles again. I felt something cold slide down my spine. Sarah laughed too, but it was that soft, nervous kind of laugh, the one that says, "Please don't make this worse." Tom kept going. "You must have your hands full, though, keeping up with her. She's quite something." The way he said it. Tone. It wasn't admiration, it was ownership. I stared at him for a long moment. My hands tightened around my glass. Could have let it slide. I could have smiled politely and moved on. But something inside me, something tired, something raw, snapped. I stepped closer, lowering my voice just enough that everyone leaned in a little. "You know, Tom," I said calmly, "I've learned that when a man mocks another about his wife, it usually says more about his own boundaries than about the marriage." The air went still. He blinked, unsure how to respond. I didn't stop. "See, it's funny," I continued, my voice steady, measured. "You spend so much time talking about how amazing she is, but I can't help but wonder, do you talk about your own girlfriend this much? Or is my wife the only one that gets special attention at work?" Sarah's face drained of color. Tom stammered something, a weak laugh escaping his throat. "It's just a joke, man. Don't take it personally." "Oh, I don't," I said, setting my glass down on the counter between us. "But I'd be careful joking about another man's wife like that. You never know when the husband might stop laughing." The silence that followed was thick, awkward, heavy enough to fill the whole room. I turned to Sarah. "You wanted me to come tonight," I said softly. "Well, I'm here. Enjoy the rest of the party." And I walked out. The drive home was a blur of city lights and clenched teeth. I didn't turn on the radio. Didn't check my phone. I just drove, each red light stretching longer than the last. By the time Sarah got home, it was close to midnight. I was sitting on the couch, lights off, her wine glass from the morning still on the table. "Mark," her voice trembled slightly. "You embarrassed me." I looked up. "That's what you're worried about." She frowned. "He was just joking. You made it weird." I laughed, bitter and hollow. "Weird? Sarah, he touches you every time he talks. He looks at you like he's trying to undress you with his eyes. And you let him. You encourage it." "You're imagining things," she said quickly, too quickly. I leaned forward. "Am I?" Silence. She looked away. "He's just a friend." "Right," I said. "A friend who calls you after midnight when I'm asleep. A friend who sends you texts you hide when I walk into the room." Her lips parted, but no words came. I checked your phone, Sarah. The words came out cold, final. I didn't mean to. But you left it unlocked on the counter last week. I saw the messages. Her breath caught. I wasn't going to say anything, I continued, voice breaking slightly. I told myself maybe it was innocent. Maybe I was overreacting. But then tonight, seeing the way he looks at you, it made everything clear. She sank into the chair opposite me, eyes glistening. It wasn't Mark, it wasn't what you think. It was just texting. I was lonely. You've been so distant lately. You barely talk to me anymore. I felt something inside me fracture. So your solution to loneliness was him? She wiped her tears. He listened. That's all. I laughed again, this time softer, more broken. You know what's funny? I was lonely too. But I didn't go find someone else to fill the silence. The house felt too big, too empty, every word echoing against the walls. I didn't sleep with him, she whispered. I swear I didn't. I looked at her. And in that moment I realized something painful. I didn't know if I could ever believe her again. Because betrayal doesn't start in beds. It starts in hearts. And hers had already crossed that line. Days passed. We spoke little. Her apologies came like clockwork. Measured, careful, rehearsed. Mine never came. Because I wasn't the one who'd broken anything. Sometimes I'd wake in the middle of the night and look at her sleeping beside me. The woman I once knew felt like a stranger now. Every memory, every laugh, every quiet morning coffee. It all felt tainted by that one truth. She had let someone else into a space that was supposed to be ours. The distance between us grew, invisible but solid. 3 weeks later, we attended another gathering. A mutual friend's birthday. She wanted to show that things were normal. Played along. Smiled when I needed to. Laughed when prompted. But deep down I was done pretending. Halfway through the evening, Tom arrived. He froze when he saw me. His usual smirk replaced by a wary politeness. Sarah's hand tightened around her wine glass. He approached, forced a grin. Hey man. No hard feelings about last time, yeah? I turned to him slowly, holding his gaze. No hard feelings, I said. Then quieter so only he could hear. Just stay in your lane. He swallowed hard and stepped back. Sarah's eyes widened. Mark, she whispered. But I didn't let her finish. I looked straight at her, the noise of the party fading around us. You wanted me to be quiet last time, I said softly. But silence doesn't fix betrayal, it hides it. Her eyes filled with tears again, the kind that come when someone finally realizes the damage they've done is permanent. That night I packed a small bag. Just the essentials. She stood at the doorway, trembling, not stopping me. Where will you go? She asked. I don't know, I said honestly. But somewhere I can breathe. As I reached the door, she whispered. Do you still love me? Pause. Question cut deep. I think I do, I said finally. But love isn't supposed to hurt like this. And I walked out. The city was quiet that night. No laughter, no noise. Just the faint hum of streetlights and the distant rhythm of a world still spinning. Sometimes the loudest thing in the world is the silence left after trust breaks. And that silence spoke louder than anything she or I could ever say.